What's going on, Husker Nation? Thank you so much for tuning in today. We're going to break down a little bit from that spring game, show you some clips that we found on the interwebs. But before we dive into that, make sure you tune in for our Tuesday live show tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time. Now, positions of note, Landon Davidson did move from offensive line to defensive tackle, and he got limited snaps there in the spring game. Had some snaps where he actually physically threw an offensive guard. I couldn't see who it was in the clip, but he physically threw an offensive guard and then got into the backfield, which was a good play. Ian Flint has moved from tight end to defensive end, and I'll tell you right off the top, very likely that was the goal the whole time, was to move him from tight end to a different position. Now, I thought it'd probably be offensive guard or offensive tackle, and you put 20 or 30 pounds on him because he's like 265 pounds right now. So defensive end isn't like a total surprise. I just figured it would be on the offensive line, but with his frame, he's got really good size for defensive end. And then Vincent Genatone has moved from linebacker to running back. I don't know why that move was made. I figured he wasn't seeing a lot of reps with the twos or even maybe the threes at the linebacker room. With his size and speed, it makes sense. Now, can you teach him to pass block? Can you teach him to read the hole? You know what I mean? There's things about the running back position that aren't coachable. And one of those things is speed. And Vincent Genatone has a lot of that at 6 foot, 225 pounds. He ran a 10.5, 100 meter. And he was in line to be the starting kick returner at Montana or Montana State, wherever the heck he was before Nebraska. He was in line to be their starting kick returner and their starting middle linebacker. So it's an interesting move. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not super pumped about it. I'm not super down about it. It is what it is, I guess, right? And then two, before we dive into spring game analysis and things like that and performance of players and stuff, a lot of these guys that are playing are not going to be playing in fall, or most of them, 70, 80, 90% of them probably are not going to see significant snaps come fall. So I don't want to get too overhyped and I don't want to be too down. The running game struggled. We know that. But the guys that were on the offensive line aren't playing in the fall. They're still developing. And the guys that were running the ball, like Mekhi Nelson, are probably going to play in the fall. So he's playing behind an offensive line that's not going to play, So I don't want to look in too much into that. So I don't want to judge anybody. Also, Carter Nelson apparently sprinted onto the field when the team came out for warmups, which is a good sign because guess what? Carter Nelson had hip surgery 4.5 months ago. So that's a good sign for Nebraska that he's recovering quickly. I mean, to be sprinting after having your hip operated on 4.5 months ago is pretty impressive. Now, on to the spring game. It started off with the kicker challenge, which ended after the first kick because Nico Otomeli missed from 20 yards. Now, Tristan battled Brett Maher to extend that basically, and it ended up being Brett Maher that took the victory there. He hit it from 55 yards. Tristan Alfano did not. Now, during the spring game, Tristan and Nico did hit from 45 yards or so that is good. And in our preview, I talked about wanting to see some strength and accuracy from Tristan coming off of his groin surgery last year. So it was good to see him at least put one through from 45 or so yards out. Now, on to the quarterback room. Before I dive into that, the Husker Gutter call-in show every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time. That is where you call in, tell us what you want to talk about. Make sure you tune in to the Husker Gutter call-in show. Now, TJ Lateef, I think, is ahead of Marcos Davila coming out of spring. That might be your breaking news of the spring game because TJ Lateef started the spring game. And TJ Lateef, by all accounts, looked better than Marcos Davila in the spring game. Now, Marcos did have a really nice touchdown pass to DJ Singleton in the corner of an end zone. They both threw interceptions as well. But TJ's mobility, escapability, ability to just get 3 or 4 yards. He's not, like we said in our preview video, he's not overly athletic, but he's more athletic than what we have. And that was what we wanted to see. And that is what we saw, his ability to go get those hidden yards. Now, for TJ, he's also more accurate in the short game. He's more accurate in the medium game. Marcos has an incredibly strong arm. TJ does not. Marcos is probably 30 or 40 pounds heavier right now than TJ is. Marcos is a big physical quarterback. TJ is a little bit lighter, little bit slender, probably needs to add some weight, but he right now, I believe, is a third string quarterback coming out of spring practice. Now we'll get to our boy Tanner Turch's Tanner Turch's interception. Now, if you haven't, go back and watch our interview with Tanner Turch, because he has got to be one of the most likable kids I have ever met. Let's get to his interception. There he is, number 41. Now, this is TJ's interception that he threw. What's crazy on this play is you have to, if you see the other angles from it, whoever the cornerback is over here that we can't really see on video, I think it's this guy. I have no idea who that is, to be honest. The coverage was completely busted. And TJ was hitting a dude that was wide open and in stride. And then Tanner Turch comes from out of nowhere and undercuts the route. That was a great interception, too. I wish I had the overhead angle that I saw, but I don't know if I'm allowed to share that video or not. It's such a great play by Tanner, because he read the quarterback. He was in like a cover one type coverage. He saw his corner get burnt. He saw this receiver coming wide open and then made a beautiful play. Congratulations, Tanner. I'm happy for Tanner. He's such a great kid. You need to watch that interview we did with him. It is phenomenal. And then also, Kamir Prescott intercepted Marcos Davia as well. I had a video of that one, but I am having an issue with it, so I can't play it. But Kamir Prescott did have an interception, and then so did Bryson Weber, which, if you've seen my videos before, you know how high I am on Bryson Weber. I think he has a chance to play as a true freshman. And then let's see what else we got here. Luke Longval had a touchdown on an RPO to Jaden Doss. That was about a 19-yard touchdown pass. And then guess what happened? The ensuing PAT was blocked. And I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, yeah, good job, defense, for blocking the PAT. But, like, also, didn't we have this issue last year? Like, I don't know. I don't want to read too much into it because it's spring, but it was kind of funny to me that the first touchdown, the ensuing PAT was blocked. I was like, there's no effing way that just happened. Defensively, David Hoofkin applied pressure, resulting in a sack by Mason Goldman and Ethan Duda. Mason Goldman has had a really good spring. We talked about how well he's performing, I think, in our D-line preview, or maybe it was another show. I don't know. I kind of lose track of it all at this point in time because we're doing one like every day. But we said that Mason Goldman was having a really good spring. We wanted to see how his pass rush has developed, and at times it looked pretty solid. He had the one sack, as we just mentioned. David Hoofkin, also, we kind of wanted to see how his physicality, how he's developed. I personally don't think he's going to have much of a role on this team next year, or this coming season. He's still a ways away, but we still want to see how he developed. He did have a sack on Marcus Davia, and then he also, like I said just a second ago, he had the pressure that resulted in the sack by Mason Goldman and Ethan Duda. And then Eric Ingwerson at tight end had a couple of really nice catches, and I saw one clip of him catching the ball and running for like a few yards afterwards, and I was incredibly surprised at how lean he looks, and because he's a big tight end. Like, he was a guy that Nebraska, when they signed him, I was like, he's moving to offensive tackle in like 2 years. And eventually it was Ian Flint that moved and not Eric Ingwerson. So I'm surprised by how lean he looked. At his frame was so built. He's 6'5", 6'6", maybe bigger. He's 250 plus. And he looked really good physically, catching the ball and running. So I was surprised at the athletic build. And then let's see what else we got. Barney won the fastest man competition. He barely beat out Malcolm Hartzog. I think I have that video. Yeah, I do. I'm going to pull this video up. And what I want you to actually do is watch number 17. That's not, the 17 in black, because that's Willis McGahee, a linebacker, who is beating a collegiate track athlete, Jeremiah Charles. He is hanging with Ja'Cory Barney, who runs probably a 4.45, maybe a 4.540, maybe a little bit lower. He's hanging with guys that are receivers and DBs. 17 in black. Can't really see him. He's off to the side here, but he's in front of Jeremiah Charles here at the end. That's a linebacker. That's a jack linebacker. That's 6'1", 230 plus pounds. Thank you to Hill Varsity for posting that video. All right, let's see what else we got here. We got an RVP tractor pull. You guys want to see that? So the thing with this is RVP, if you're like listening on the stream, not the stream, but the Husker radio network or whatever, he said that this strap right here over his back kind of broke, and that's why he was holding his neck area. He's holding the strap because it was like choking him. This is RVP, and it was I think it was Elijah Judy that did this together. Elijah Judy's behind him. Look at that vein popping out of his neck. Jeez. Nice. I like it. Now, what else we got here? Oh, we can show you Marcus' touchdown pass here. What I liked about this play too, just before we get into it, you're going to see number 12 in red flashes across your screen kind of in the lower part here. It looks like Nebraska is actually running like a rub route or a pick route or something, and then you have DJ Singleton in a flat route underneath that, and that is what freed him up. See, there's Jaden Doss running that slant, and then DJ running underneath it like a little pick route. Really good execution, really good ball placement, got the ball out quick. That play was 100% designed to go to that one person. And he knew that. Look at Marcos. Like, we're sitting here doing film breakdown of a spring game. But look at Marcos. It's not even RPO. It's not even a play action. It's just like that fake handoff to hold. But watch his head the entire time. He's immediately going to that flat. Boom. Good throw. Great catch. Got his feet down. All right, what else do I have stored in here? Okay, here's Bryson Weber. I don't remember if I showed this or not. Bryson Weber on DJ Singleton. Bryson Weber 6'3", like all of 185, 190. DJ's pretty short at like 5'8", but he makes Bryson look like a giant human. No, he's just that small. But Bryson is huge for a corner, 6'3", 180, 6'3", 185. And then also, here's the bench press thing. I thought this was really cool. Coach Rule donated $5,000 per rep that Coach Mike Eckler could put up at 225, and then doubled it when Will Compton came in. And if Will Compton could do 10, and then he did 15. Now, this is a video, I believe this is one the Huskers put out on Twitter, so it's kind of cut up, so you don't get to see all the reps. But
on behalf of my wife, Julie and I, sorry, Julie, I didn't tell you what to do. We will donate $5,000 for every rep that Coach Eckler does 225.
By the way, Coach Eckler's 53.
Will Compton can get 10. Just gets 10. I'll double. 14
I'm muting that video. It's so loud in my headset. But watch this Coach Eckler after he takes the smelling salts from Taylor, the wand. This is hilarious. Watch his face. Oh, man. I have so much affinity for Coach Mike Eckler. That's all I've got for today, though. Stay tuned. We've got our Huskers live on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Time. Have a great day, everybody.